the Columbia University Alelia Bundles Community Scholar.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Um, how can you tell us a little bit about that honor and how has that impacted your work in dyslexia advocacy?
Sure. So, people in New York know that Columbia's footprint grew tremendously over the past 15 years, 20 years or so, and really taking over a lot of West Harlem, displacing people and displacing their jobs. And so they created a Community Benefits Act. And one of the benefits is that 5 people from Harlem, where I live, get chosen every year to matriculate for 3 years through Columbia
Hmm.
as an auditor. We're not making the professors do extra work grading our papers and taking exams, but we have an opportunity to learn and usually to speak in class. So I took classes. I used it, a lot of people used it to learn nonprofit management and learn things to make an organization in Harlem stronger. I really looked at it to figure out the role of the university in ending the dyslexia to prison pipeline.
Mhm.
I took a 300 level psychology class called Children at Risk. And they didn't talk about the most common learning disability. And they didn't talk about what social workers and psychologists could do to mitigate this, even though the title of the class was Children at Risk. Um, Another class I took was the history of the English language taught by John McWhorter, who is a linguist, but he taught in the history department as well, a cross-listed class. And that really opened my eyes to what a lot of teachers didn't know and how it impacted how we should teach English. So it was amazing on 2 levels. One was just how complicated English was, but a lot of that ends with the printing press, right? But it
Yes.
doesn't end with the printing press. It really doesn't. And Dr. McWhorter actually brought in Black English and how that affects teaching English and how it also kind of parallels the journey that all our New Yorkers here are going through as immigrants to our city, putting their kids in a school system who don't know how to speak English.
Hmm.
So, um, that was really eye opening. I got to take a class and meet with professors in public health, in social work. I took classes in the Barnard Education Program and at Teachers College. But I also learned that reading teachers are not alone. The piano teachers and the dance teachers weren't taught how to teach dance or how to teach music. So
Mm.
I was that was really eye opening.
You mean they weren't taught about the evidence or best practices
Yeah,
or explicit instruction or any of
exactly.
that in
Um,
relation to play? Mm.
yeah, and now I look back and I should have taken like a physical education course. That would have been really interesting to see how phys ed teachers are prepared. Um, but still, we honor practice in music and we honor practice in sports. It's okay if someone goes and practices shooting free throws. It's
Yes.
okay if you sit with your piano and practice and practice and practice. We don't honor it in learning how to read. And a lot of
Mm.
kids really need that extra practice.
That's really interesting. I've never thought I'm an athlete growing up, so the free throws resonated with me. But and to your point, it's not only honored, it's mandatory, right? You have practice 2 or 3 or 4 times a week
Yeah.
for sports teams, sometimes every day, and piano practice at least a couple of times. Um, but the idea of practice, and in fact, sometimes the reading practice gets put on the back burner for soccer practice or football practice. Um, but that's a really interesting thing that the homework um, and or practice in school time, right? Because it's the repetition, repetition, building that automaticity, just like you want on the free throws, so that in the game you don't have to think about it. It's just automatic.
Yeah.
because you've practiced it so much.